Away from their 6th title in 8 years. But just 9 days ago, when this series began, the Bulls were actually considered underdogs. Here's Ahmad Rashad with Michael Jordan.
The key for three. It's long. And Michael is there, as he so often is. The Bulls will survive the Pacers.
When this series started, the two things they said about the Bulls were they were old and they were tired, which obviously had nothing to do with what was going to happen in the future.
Well, I mean, that's true. You know, we are old, and sure, we're tired. It's been a long season, but mentally, we have a vision, we have a finish that we have to attain. You know, and sometimes you have to do it when you're old and you're tired. You know, and I think it's the test of your will to succeed when you have to deal with, you know, some of these negatives. And I'm pretty sure, you know, by the end of this playoffs, you'll see the old and the tired people were very, very young and strong mentally.
Your confidence as a team really didn't wane going into Utah. Well, a lot of people thought they had a tough time with Indiana. They'll never get by Utah.
Their confidence, or their overconfidence, was our biggest, you know, positive, our biggest strength going into the series. They were expected to dominate us because of many games and minutes that I've played and Scotty's played and whatever. And I felt it was still in our favor. You know, we had a rhythm. We were gaining, improving as we moved deeper into the playoffs. Sure, we went to a 7-game series with Indiana, but I think that was a plus instead of a minus.
Now, going in, you say the pressure's on Utah. Here it is about a week later. You guys are up 3-1. The pressure's squarely on the Bulls to win this thing. As Utah, they have nothing to lose at this point.
Well, I disagree with you. I think, you know, no one anticipated us being in this scenario, 3-1, an opportunity to close it out in Chicago. They're looking at trying to get it back to Utah, so the pressure's still on them. You know, they haven't lived up to the expectations of Salt Lake City or Utah and most of the people who predicted them to beat us. You know, so they have to contend with those thoughts. I don't think that in their mind, they haven't been able to solve our defense, you know, which is a big key. You know, our defense has always been able to hold them, you know, whenever it's a necessary need for that. In some of their minds, I'm pretty sure that, you know, they think they should be swept by now, you know, 4-0.
Plenty more with Ahmad and Michael at halftime. While Jordan has made all the big plays in these finals, Karl Malone has struggled, scoring 7 points below his average with 17 turnovers in 4 games. Yesterday, I spoke with Malone.
The harsh verdict of history is closing in on Karl Malone.
I think my concern is people don't start making plans for summer already. Every guy have to look at himself. You know, not a pep talk from coach or myself or John or anybody else. Yourself. If nothing else, how are you going to be remembered by the other teams in the league?
Dennis Rodman's been given a lot of the credit for hurting you from a defensive standpoint. Do you buy that? Does he deserve it?
Well, I don't buy that, but everybody want to know why maybe I'm not getting shots in the fourth quarter. We have certain plays we run. We haven't ran those plays, but they don't talk about that. Give credit where credit is due. You know, he has an assignment to play defense and rebound and always be where I'm at, and he's doing a good job of doing that. I give him credit, but I'm not going to give him all the credit, no.
John Stockton told me in an interview earlier this week that sometimes you take all the pressure on yourself and the burden on yourself to carry this team. And he said that works for you. Is that the way you're approaching this game?
Whenever a game situation like this, I do, and I see no reason for it to be different now. I know, and it's known throughout America, that the world probably. When Karl Malone played well, the Jazz played well. As long as I'm here, it's going to be like that. And so, of course, you know, I look at this game, the biggest game of my career.
So you're thinking about your legacy, your playoff legacy, and how you'll be perceived if the Jazz lose.
Well, you always think about that. You know, I think about how you want to be remembered as an athlete. You look at everything I've done, the one thing I haven't done is win a title. So it's not going to be the end of the world for me, but from a sports standpoint, I would always say that he got them there, but they didn't win the whole thing.
Malone has certainly taken the brunt of the criticism for not getting the job done down the stretch for the Utah Jazz. And right now, let's rejoin Doug and Isiah down on the floor and see where they weigh in on this issue. Isiah, how much of the blame does Malone deserve?
And I think he only deserves 50% of the blame, and I think Stockton deserves the rest. It's always been Stockton and Malone, the 1-2 punch, and Stockton has failed to show his leadership skills and to get Malone involved in the latter parts of a game. Malone is a soldier. He's not a leader. They've taken Stockton totally out of this series, and in the last 3 games, he's only averaged 6 points. So Stockton must find a way to get himself involved and get his teammates involved and share some of that responsibility and take the burden off of Malone a little bit.
Well, Isiah, if Karl Malone is the guy who's going to take the brunt of the criticism, he's got to do one of 2 things. He's either got to talk to Jerry Sloan or Stockton. He's got to go, look, I'm not happy with the plays we're running in the 4th quarter. This is what I want us to do. This is where I want the ball. Then if we go down, if we lose, I can accept that. But he has got to be, there's got to be a trust factor here. You know, 13 years together. Now's the time to communicate. Don't just worry about it going into the summer. Do something about it right now when you can do it.
But Doug, that's totally out of his character. He's a soldier. He's not a leader. And throughout the Utah Jazz, since Stockton and Malone got together, Stockton has been the leader and Sloan has been the leader. And right now, Malone is being a good soldier and taking a bullet.
Thanks a lot, guys. And clearly it is up to not only Karl Malone, but also John Stockton, both future Hall of Famers, to save Utah's season with a win tonight. We're closing in on the tip-off of Game 5. The NBA Finals continue on NBC right after these messages.
Announcing the new Miller Lite Scratch and Sniff Fantasy Sweepstakes. If you can smell it, you can win it.
It smells like beef.
Smell beef and win 400 pounds of red meat.
You tiresome fool, it's obviously suntan oil.
Smell suntan oil and you win the grand prize. Be an extra on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit shoot.
Hi, Jimmy.
Score! Tell me about it.
See special displays for details.
It ties as J.D. Power and Associates' most appealing minivan. It's also winner of the Automobile Magazine All-Star Award. And now, it's the winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Ownership Experience. Presenting the new Chrysler Town & Country LXI. Now, select customers save a total of $2,000 on Town & Country. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Kids, they're always learning something new, especially this summer at Holiday Inn. Here they can explore the world of animals and nature with free collectible toys, games, and activities, all courtesy of Holiday Inn. And because their appetite for knowledge is matched only by their appetite, kids eat free at Holiday Inn, which makes sense since they stay free too. For reservations at participating hotels, call 1-800-HOLIDAY.